everybody, it's me, Will.
And it's me, Josh.
It's been quite a while, but we're here and we've got lots to say. Usually this is where a rap would come in, but it's not. We're just going to talk normally for the next hour or so.
Just going to be chatting. First up, you were going to tell me something that happened on the train, but you decided to wait for the pod to tell it.
Oh, I did.
I'm so intrigued.
We have a story between us about a kid that made their hands, but this might rival it, because I was sitting on the train the other day, and this kid, unprovoked, but not unprompted, this is unprovoked, just started going, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle, and it didn't stop. But then the mother was like, "Oh, where'd you learn that?" Like it was a smart thing the kid was doing. And he just kept going until eventually, obviously, he ran out of breath and moved on. But it was I was so uncomfortable. It was like he was possessed by Santa.
That was real weird.
Yeah, so that happened on the train the other day. And, I'm never going to hear that song the same ever again. Like, when I hear the rest of the words, I'm going to be like, that's not how it goes.
That's not how it goes? What? That's terrifying.
It's July. I mean, maybe he had a Christmas in July thing.
Christmas in July?
Everyone just messed up the song. But still, I never want to hear that child. I probably won't, because it's, there's a lot of people on Earth, but I don't want to hear him ever again.
Yeah, that's real weird, hey.
Yeah, it's very strange. But something that we're going to be hearing a lot more of, because it's never going away, is Marvel. And in today's podcast, we're going to be talking all things from the Hall H panel that Kevin Feige, I assume, just brought a USB to with his homemade Photoshop logos. And we'll also be talking a little bit about the Avengers game. But before we talk about those things, Joshua, bit of news from you.
I got a bit of news. So Alan Moore, one of the highest rated, most renowned comic book writers, has officially retired last week, just before Comic-Con actually, which seems like a strange time, but
yeah, just
I guess
do it there.
all the comic book people are out, so yeah, whatever. So Alan Moore, he's massively prolific. He wrote things such as Watchmen, which we did for Comic Book Club, which is also a movie. Same with The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and V for Vendetta. And Batman the Killing Joke. So he wrote all of those things, and now they're all films. And he also wrote the very highly acclaimed Swamp Thing saga, which I still need to get to. There's 10 volumes of that or something, and I've only got one.
It's a TV show now as well. I mean, a cancelled TV show, but it is a TV show.
Yes. And he also did a whole bunch of things for DC and Marvel throughout his time as a writer, as well as for probably every other publisher in existence. He's been around. He's been around for so damn long and worked with everyone. And yeah, he's finished up. I don't think he did anything too crazily controversial throughout his time, but I know that he has some weird beliefs and thoughts and stuff, so probably good to retire and get out of the spotlight before he does something real weird, because he's heaps into magic.
Yep. Not
the card game, just magic in general. But, he wrote some great stuff, and that weirdness translated to some incredible stories. Sad to see him go, but, he gave us some of the most amazing stuff, and probably pushed comic books a lot further than nearly anyone else. He's also probably quite angry about all the Watchmen stuff that's been happening over the last couple of years, because he never ever wanted anything more than the original Watchmen series to be the Watchmen. And they asked him to come back for Before Watchmen, and he said, no, leave it how it is. And they went, no, we own this, we're going to do whatever we want with it and just get other writers. So he was pissed about that. And then they continued on with the Doomsday Clock, and now they have the TV series. He didn't like the movie. I don't know, man.
I admit, a lot of the stuff might be terrible. We both really haven't delved much into it, but it's fair enough for someone who created a thing to have an idea, and you'd think that people would stick to it. So fair enough that he's a little grumpy.
That's it. He just wanted it to be standalone, and other people just want to keep making cash out of it.
It's the years, the decades, it's the lifetime of franchises now.
That's the thing.
I don't know why we're saying it like that, because we're about to spend another hour and a half talking about franchises that we want to watch.
Are we indeed?
I don't know. We're the word that means that we do the things that we shouldn't do against the thoughts we have. What's that word? I always forget.
Contradictory?
That's the one.
There it is.
And you know what? This is the strangest thing. Whenever I try and remember that word, I see a picture of Colonel Sanders going, "We want you." And I don't know why, but all of my life, whenever I try and think of that word, I see that poster.
Why Colonel Sanders? Because it's not even Colonel Sanders in the original thing.
The guy with the hat.
Uncle Sam?
Yeah, they're both the same. They're both American.
I like Colonel Sanders though. You should just imagine Colonel
I'll
Sanders.
stick to
from
that,
now on.
even if it's not true.
He's just eating chicken.
When I'm on the Oprah Winfrey show, I'll be like, "Guess what, Oprah?" But San Diego Comic-Con happened, and that's where the whole H thing happened. But before that was a sneaky little preview and also a few playthroughs of the Marvel's Avengers game from Squeenix. And at E3, we didn't get a good leak. It was like someone clearly filming through their crotch. Whereas this one, someone filmed the screen. They just did it. They didn't really care. So we got actual good footage of it. Sorry, Squeenix, if you're listening. We didn't see the footage, and what we're about to say, we're just assuming. So send us the free copies. We didn't do anything wrong.
We didn't. I actually haven't seen it.
It looks good, is the thing to take away. All the things that people were complaining about, your Thors, your Captain Americas, your Black Widows, Tony Stark look fine, are fixed. Black Widow no longer has a Lord Farquaad face. She actually looks like a human. And it looks like Cap's slimmed down, Thor's buffed up, and his facial hair looks good. So they listened. / the build they showed at E3 was 2 months old, and everyone should have just shut up and waited.
Yeah, like, I think I probably said this in our previous podcast about it. We're still like a year off.
Yeah.
From this game existing. Like, that was basically an alpha. It's not even close to being done. They have a year left of work to be finishing this game or doing whatever the hell they need to do for this game. Mm-hmm. So everyone just needs to calm down, and whatever we just saw it's probably not even going to be close to what ends up coming. Like, there's going to be so many puddles removed.
So many puddles. But yeah, it looks good. The combat looks very Marvel Spider-Man, which is interesting because I wonder if Spidey is in this game, whether they would just lift the combat system from PS4 Spidey, whether that would be a possible thing to do, because if it's the same character, if it fits in your universe, why not just borrow that stuff?
Pretty much, yeah. The only difference there would be, like, the code base and stuff might be different, but if they can share assets and stuff, that would be perfect.
I mean, there is no doubt we will be seeing the white advanced Spidey suit, at least for a PS4 exclusive skin for Spidey.
Yes, yeah, because they did say that there was exclusive PlayStation stuff. Yeah. Which will be so good. It's got to be Spider-Man. It's got to be Spider-Man related, surely.
But yeah, the game looks good. If you want to find this stuff, there's a Reddit, maybe Square Enix, I don't know, I haven't checked, readcomicbooks.org. It's like /Avengers game project or something. You'll find it, and you can check out all the footage. It's on YouTube as well. So if you want to check it out, do, because the game looks alright.
I'm very, very keen, but, like I keep saying, we have a year.
We've got time. And speaking of time and years, we got the Marvel Cinematic Plan for years 20 to 21. Just that. Bear in mind, as we talk for the next probably 40 minutes, just like 2 years worth of stuff.
It is insane. 10 freaking things.
Oh, God. But, yes, Hall H... It's the long-anticipated thing. Marvel hasn't been there for a few years, at least not in a big way. This year they had a panel with the writers of Endgame, as well as a panel with the Russos. But this is the panel no one really knew much about. There wasn't a specific thing saying it was going to be a reveal of the phases. It was just kind of like, Feige's going to be there, something's going to happen. We all assumed. We all kind of expected. Yeah. But it was moderated by Jessica Chobot, who was the reason I think anyone watched The Nerdist, and then she left, and then she was on IGN, or maybe that was the other way around, but she's great. It was great to see her, because I haven't seen her since she left The Nerdist. Sure. But she moderated, didn't really do much, because Feige talks a lot. But he came out, and he said the best thing, the best way to phrase this, he said, now, I can spend 90 minutes talking about what we've done, or I could spend some time talking about what we're about to do.
Nice.
Sneaky little bugger. Everyone screamed because, that wasn't the plan. No one knew this was going to happen. But yeah, he spent the next hour and a half talking about the Marvels. Just up top, gonna let's just have like a audible reaction to each of these. I'm just gonna say everything that was announced, and then we'll dive tip first into all of it. Movies on May 1st, 2020. Just 2020. There's no one there. It's Black Widow.
Yep.
Ooh. Oh, that's your noise? Yep.
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 I forgot we were doing the reactions.
Yeah, is a good reaction.
We're aware of half of the things that they announced.
Yeah, but November 5th, 2020, same year, The Eternals. Yeah. February 12th, 2021, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings. Oh! Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So much potential. May 7th, 2021, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
November 5th, 2021, Thor, Love and Thunder.
Oh, man.
TV now, Fall, which is Australian Spring 2020, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Intrigued.
Spring, which is our Autumn 2021, is WandaVision.
It's mainly the name.
It's the name and the logo. We'll get there. Spring, again, our Autumn in 2021, is Loki. Oh! Summer, which is our winter in 2021, is What If.
Oh, yes.
That's my hands clapping for anyone.
I hope so.
Fall, which is our spring, is in 2021, Hawkeye.
Yes!
Yeah!
Yes!
I'm glad we both moved away from our mics. I'm glad we're that in sync. But yes, that's all the things were announced, as well as yet to be given a slot, Blade.
That was unexpected.
It was. We'll get there, because first off is the Eternals, and on each of these, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the logos, because that's the sort of shit Will cares about, and Josh is like, yeah, well, it's just a logo, Will.
It's just a yeah.
Eternals, I thought simple, sleek, totally passable, but like I don't get any idea of what the show is going to be like, or the movie's going to be like from it. It's like, yeah, cool.
It's just sort of the name.
Yeah, in like the kind of font you would expect the word eternal to be in.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
It looks good, but it looks like Times New Roman.
It does, yeah.
But the phrase that Kevin Feige Kevy. I'll make Kevy.
Kevy.
Let's call him Kevy for the rest of this.
Kevy.
A group of immortals that have been on Earth for 35,000 years, and they've been amongst the MCU. Best bit, apart from the fact of the idea that they've always been there, which I quite like, full Jack Kirby were the words he said, and I'm very excited for what that's going to look like.
I like that. That's very cool.
Director Chloe Zhao, who is Chinese, and the most recent thing that people may know of is it's a Western drama, The Rider. But yes, let's delve in. Talk to me about the comics, Josh.
Cool. So, the Eternals were a race created by the Celestials, which we'd know from basically Guardians of the Galaxy. They're the giant things that wielded the Infinity Stones on their hammers and things like that, and were wiping out planets in the flashback with the Collector. And also the Nowhere, the actual place Nowhere, is a giant celestial head. So those are the beings that created the Eternals. And as Feige said, they were sent to Earth 35,000 years ago to protect the Earth from the Deviants, which are like the evil Eternals, or some other race. They're like the opposite of the Eternals.
Or the people that post furry fan art on DeviantArt.
Very, very deviant.
Yes.
So they've sort of said that it's loosely based on Neil Gaiman's run in the mid-2000s. And in that run, some of them don't actually know they're the Eternals. They've just had their memory, or they've had their memories altered in some way. So I'm not sure how they know to protect the Earth.
Yeah.
In that way, I haven't read the series.
And I'd be also intrigued just how far they'll go with that. Seeing as they got rid of the Skrull type things from Dark Phoenix, whether they would want another hero that has a loose memory, I guess, after Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
how
yeah.
far they'd go down that path.
Yeah, for sure. So that's about it at this stage. Apparently, there's like one guy that will know who he is. I forget his name. But like he'll know that he's an Eternal, and he'll
Cool.
be able to just sort of go up to people and recruit them because he knows they're Eternals as well.
Cool.
So they've been around, but yeah, we just don't know who and how and where and all that stuff. But hopefully, maybe we can get around to doing Neil Gaiman's Eternal series for Comic Book Club.
That would be very cool. It's one of those things where it's like, should we go in fresh or should we have knowledge? Like, what part of the fandom do we want to be in? Do we want to be the people that are like, oh, it's that thing, or do we want to be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But I feel like the way Neil Gaiman writes, even by the end of it, we'll still be like, what's going on?
Absolutely. I'd be keen to know things.
Yeah.
Because then hopefully they like sprinkle in some Easter eggs and stuff like that. It'd be very cool.
Allusions to the future, but the people that will be playing these characters, I'm skipping straight to the end because I love how much of a fanboy Kevy was. He's like ratted off these fairly big names, like we've got Kamal. It's a very difficult name to say.
There's so many names in this.
Yeah. Salma Hayek, like fairly well-known people, but right at the end he goes, and finally, unbelievably, like he's actually excited that this person said, yes, I'll be in your movie, which I assume that's how Angelina Jolie speaks. But yeah, Angelina Jolie's in the film, which had been theorized. She's not playing the character people thought she was. She's actually playing Athena, which, from my research, I went right into the research. She's a gold-armored stern lady, is what I've got written down.
Interesting.
She's that. And by the images and some of the art I've seen, very much the role I would put Angelina Jolie into. It's because I've written her name as Angelia Jolie. That's stumping me there.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
But the other big name, and I mean, there's a few other big names in this, but Salma Hayek, who is in a slew of the films. She's playing Ajax, but not that Ajax, the real Ajax, because Ajax doesn't really exist in the way that he did in Deadpool. She's playing Ajax, an Eternal. And she's the leader of the group, which is exciting because Salma Hayek was once told she couldn't be in a sci-fi film because there's no Mexicans in space. So, yeah, suck that.
Wow.
She's really turned that on its head.
That's ridiculous. What the heck?
Yeah, it was a different time.
So rude.
There was no Dave Bautista's in space back then either. Someone that I'm a big fan of, Richard Madden. He's in a bunch of stuff, recently Rocket Man, and I'm pretty sure The Bodyguard. He'll be playing Icarus, based on Icarus. Lots of these names are super close to like Greek mythology, but they're like Marvel mythology, so they just change like letters. That's the way they go.
Yeah, I think Icarus was the guy I was thinking of before.
Yeah, cool.
Who he will know straight up. Like he has always known that he's an Eternal.
I have seen him many times in the comics. He is such a flamboyant character, and I'm so excited to see him in the movies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
But also we get Kamal Ninjani, which is someone I know. I just don't know how to say names. I'm terrible with it, but it's like half of my job is saying words now, so just getting over it. But he was recently in Stuba. He walked out on stage, and I was like, he's gotten full Marvel buff man, and I don't know when that happened because he was promoting Stuba, and he looked like he does, which is a nerd like us, and now he looks like a Hemsworth, and it's quite a change.
Interesting. I wonder, because I've been listening to a few other podcasts that they've been discussing this, and they mentioned one guy who apparently on Hot Things was talking about how he wants to put on like heaps and heaps of muscle and stuff, but
that's him.
Okay, yeah. So he wants to do that, but the only way that he knows he could do that is to basically be in a superhero movie, because then he'll get paid to get buff and get trained and all of that. So now he's in it, and he's doing the thing, and he's living the dreams.
He's a good boy. I mean, that was earlier this year, so he clearly knew and was being a little cheeky bugger.
Yeah, nice.
We've also got Brian Tree Henry, or Tyree, because I don't think someone's middle name is Tree. He'll be playing Fastos. Again, lots of Greek god names. And then Leah McHugh is playing Sprite, and as you can tell by the name, she's a drink. I'm sorry. I just went for that. No, Sprite, as in a tiny one. She's a younger actress, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, I saw the pictures with a tiny girl, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah, Sprite, because of course it is.
cute.
Don Lee will be playing Gilgamesh, not Gilgamesh, and anime. Lauren Ridolph will be playing Makari. I'm so excited for all these names to make as much sense as Mjolnir. And this actress was actually former Miss Deaf America, and she's also an actress from The Walking Dead. And I say that because, holy crap, this is one of the most diverse casts I've seen in a film, and they're all like the leads. It's not like the white dude and the slightly African lady, and then, you know, some other nationalities. It's like this entire cast is it's amazing. I love it.
It is crazy. Like, we can get to it later, but like Marvel can really do whatever the hell they want now.
Yeah.
Like, they can do anything. They can cast nearly anyone, and people will come see it, and it'll probably be amazing.
Yeah.
Just because they don't put out real bad crap.
No.
At least anymore. Like,
Yeah, we've stopped doing that since Phase 2.
yeah, like it's so good. They can just be like, yeah, we just want whoever we want to get, and it'll work.
The one thing I hate out of this was people are like, well, they're just trying to, you know, they've just spent 10 years with a bunch of white dudes, so now they're just trying to fix that. It's like, well, no, because the white dudes were cast in the first year, in the first phase. It's like, well, they were stuck with them. It's not like they were going to make them different actors halfway through. They've just found the right time to bring in all these different characters and actresses, and it's really exciting. Just don't talk this down. This is a great thing. Just let it happen, please.
I don't know enough about the Eternals, but it could be exactly what these characters look like and seem like.
From what I've looked, yeah, they are that, which is really exciting.
But yeah, it makes sense. They're just diversifying, and on top of like Marvel doing whatever the hell they want, like no one's heard of the Eternals.
No.
This is like people had barely heard of like Iron Man and Captain America and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they were B-list. So yeah, they're just like, here's some random side crap.
Yep.
And it's gonna be freaking awesome.
It's gonna be amazing. But there's that noise. I feel like this whole podcast, that noise is going to come up a lot. But moving on to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and of course, logo time. It's chunky, it's in your face. It kind of works, but it also kind of feels a bit rushed. But I can also kind of just take it because, as I'll say, all these logos will not be the logos for the film.
Yeah.
They will be so different. And also, just a little thing, Captain America logo font. It's the font that they use either in the top tier or the Winter Soldier part of the logo. So that's a nice little bit of continuity.
Yeah, nice.
Things we know, it's post-Endgame, obviously, because, you know, stuff happens in spoilers for Endgame, you idiot. While you're watching this, listen all the things. Mackie walked out with the shield, and I need to know what that costume looks like. He actually did an interview later in the day and said that his costume fitting was last week, and they actually came to his house to do it, so he knows what he looks like, or at least one of the early costumes, which is really exciting. And he also, when he was on stage with the shield, he handed it to Sebastian Stan, so whether that's just a little bit of toying or a little hint at the fact that the mantle isn't firmly on Sam Wilson, or whether they're going to share the mantle a little bit, which I kind of wish and hope it is.
Yeah,
I think I'd prefer that.
Yeah, I think they'll share it around, or at least like they'll just like throw it to each other during the battle and stuff. Like it won't belong to one person in particular, but it'll just be a shared weapon. Since it just rebounds off anything and goes towards anyone else, they might as well share it and just rebound it off the faces of villains at each other.
And it's important to note that it is still called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's not called, there's no mention of Captain America. So, you know, I feel like they're going to retain their names. The name Captain America isn't going to be bestowed upon anyone. It's the shield that represents him, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
They also did show a clip, which we didn't get to see. There was a few clips for these things. This is the only one that we got a bit more of a descriptor about. It includes Zemo, who will be the villain of this series, last seen in Civil War. Daniel Brühl will be back as him, and I really liked him, so I'm excited.
Yeah, like I heard he had like a purple mask thing.
Yeah, right.
Thank you. Like that's awesome. I'm glad that he is coming back, because he was great. I'm keen to get some recurring villains and stuff.
Especially ones that are big in the comics. Don't kill some people, please. Keep them around.
Yes.
And this series will also see Sharon Carter back as well, so that's good.
Okay, that's cool.
I feel like we're gonna slowly either bring people back, or people that are introduced now are not going to be thrown away at any point. I feel like that's what the Marvel Universe we're in. Everything's important. Even though they used to say that, we still, I mean, obviously they come back in this, but we still got your Natalie Portmans and your Rachel McAdams and, I mean, even Gwyneth Paltrow's. So, you know, hopefully our ladies and side characters don't get thrown about. Because look at your Ant-Man. All 3 side characters from that came back, including his ex-wife and her husband, and you know, that's what we need. We don't need any more throwaways, and the reappearance of Sharon and Zemo is a good sign, especially in the first series they're doing. They're bringing back 2 characters we haven't seen. You know, we've probably seen a total of 20 minutes for both of them, so it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
But a character we haven't seen yet, and a character that will be in the film as well, which we haven't technically seen yet, is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Oh man, I'm so keen.
So excited. It's like, if they just called it Shang-Chi, it would be like, oh cool, but the fact they flat out, Legend of the Ten Rings, we got our new / real Mandarin in Tony Luang. So that's exciting. We should talk about that. But, Joshua, this is very cool. I feel like they've done a dirty in killing Iron Man and then doing this movie, but you know, whatever.
It is. This is basically like a sequel to Iron Man 3, right?
Our favorite movie.
It's it's pretty much almost a direct sequel.
Yeah.
So if anyone is unaware, so like Iron Man 3, you've got the Mandarin, who's Trevor Slattery, but there is a one-shot, 15-minute clip on the DVD where Trevor Slattery's in jail, but then he's broken out of jail, and whoever's breaking him out is like, the real Mandarin needs to see you. He's not very happy that you stole his name. So the Mandarin is real. The Ten Rings are also real.
10 Rings were also seen in Iron Man 1.
Yeah, and there is, I saw a video today, there is a tiny, half tattoo shown in Ant-Man. Super random, but it's very much real. It's not something that Aldrich Killian just created, and we're going to be diving straight into the actual Ten Rings on this.
Yes.
I'm so keen. It's going to be amazing. And we have Simu Liu.
Yep.
And apparently he was cast last Tuesday.
Yeah, after his screen test on Sunday.
That is insane. So they just they cast him, and then they're like, all right, you're coming to Comic-Con because we need to do this thing. So they just flew him out.
It's wild.
So quick. He's been in the role for less than a week.
Yep.
And he's on stage being like, yep, I'm in the Marvel Universe. What even the hell?
And additionally to that, one of the best things is a tweet. He obviously reemerged on Sunday. He tweeted out a year ago when the Shang-Chi rumors were going around. He said, "Okay, Marvel, are we going to talk or what?" And then, of course, on Sunday, he quote tweeted that with, "Well, shit."
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
So good. It's so adorable.
Yeah, out of all of these, I feel like this is one of my most anticipated things out of all of the movies announced.
As much as, and we'll get to it, Doctor Strange is going to be super unique and a lot of the other things, this is the, hopefully, because there's been so many films where it's this could be the big difference, and really it ends up being another Marvel film, which we love, but it really does just become one of those. This should be a very unique film in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, it's a whole new setting. It's obviously going to be very Asian and martial arts and all of that. So it'll be a very, very different setting to what we're used to, hopefully. And the Mandarin seems very old school. He's probably going to be in caves and stuff.
Bit of Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, traditional sort of Chinese stuff going around. So, oh yes, buddy, please.
Should also be noted that writer is David Callahan, who wrote, and these are his most recent scripts. He's written a bunch of other stuff, but Zombieland 2 and Wonder Woman 1984. Two films we can't really say whether they're good or not, but 2 films we both are excited for. So,
oh yes,
throw in a third one. This guy is he's rolling in it. Should also add Awafa Kina. You know that lady that pops up in lots of films? She's also in Jumanji 2. She's yet to be named what her role is, but she's also in this film. So that's exciting.
Awkwafina, I think.
That one.
Aquafina?
Aquafina.
Aquafina.
Yeah.
I think Aquafina. That's the one.
Okay.
Got there.
I just wanted to briefly talk about the Mandarin in this film. What my two things that I would like from this movie, like two options.
Yes.
They open the film, get it over and done with in some form, the Mandarin in Tony Leung shooting Trevor Slattery in the head. Get it over and done with. Make sure the general audience understands what's going on, and also just set that threat meter straight to the top.
Yeah, cool.
Open with something like that, or really early on, give us that moment. Have Trevor, for us Iron Man 3 film fans, have him chilling watching the football in another room, and then someone's like, come on, the master wants to see you now, and he's still drugged up and completely out of it, and then he gets killed. Have that tone of Iron Man 3 going on with him chilling, and straight away show us the new tone of this film, and the villain and the threat, and just cut him off. And I'd love that.
I like that. That's cool. Yes.
Yep. Either
Very
that,
good.
or we do a third twist where it turns out Trevor is still the real Mandarin at the end of the film.
Whoa.
Or, fourth twist.
Okay, oh my goodness. There's so much distortion happening.
Yeah, that was even on Man. It's gone. In Iron Man 3, he says that he has had plastic surgery to look like the Mandarin. So what if there's a third Mandarin that looks like Trevor Slattery but is the Mandarin?
Ooh.
And so we still get Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin. By the end of the film, it turns out that we've actually got 3 different Mandarins. You kill one, you got another one. Maybe Shang-Chi locks him away or kills it, but then it turns out the real Mandarin is still Ben Kingsley. Because apparently he got plastic surgery to look like the Mandarin, and he certainly doesn't look like Tony Leung.
He does not, no. Interesting. Very...
There's my brain.
Let's just get twisty.
Let's get twisty.
Super freaking twisty.
Let's get chicken twisty. I actually forgot to mention the logo, which I thought works super well for a comic book, but feels a little too cheap for a movie. Just a little too vibrant and splash page comic booky. But it's cool. But it doesn't feel like it conveys as much of a tone for a film.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think a lot of these logos as well, like, I don't know if we're going to see them again as logos, if not just, like, on a poster.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you look at the Phase 3 briefing, almost all the logos on that spread were not the logos when the film came out.
Yeah.
So, if we even see them, they'll be on, like, some off-brand promo thing that isn't even the official poster. It's, like, on magazines or something. But moving on from that logo, which is totally fine, to WandaVision, which is a dumb name and a bad logo, but possibly a pretty good show.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be, like, an educational Marvel series. Long Division?
Yeah, maybe that.
I think it's just Long Division.
It's just Long Division. But we know it's set post-Endgame, which is a very important fact if you've seen Infinity War and Endgame, because one half of that name is not around. It's said that it will focus on Wanda kind of coming to terms with his death and stuff like that, which is interesting when half of the name is his name, so you'd assume he'd be back. Paul Bettany also was on stage with Elizabeth Olsen, so it kind of implies he'll be there. Oh shit, I just thought of something, but we'll get there. So it's Elizabeth Olsen back, Paul Bettany's back. We also have Tiona Paris, who will be playing or Paris, because there's 2 R's there, will be playing an adult Monique... Words suck. An adult Monica Rambeau, who we last saw in Captain Marvel as the kid of her mother. And in the comics, she's Spectrum. People, of course, are being like, oh, maybe she's Ironheart. And the reason I went, holy shit, was who better to recreate Vision than Ironheart?
Ooh, yeah, nice. I like that.
But, yes, so we're getting, assumedly, another, because there are so many, another element of our Young Avengers cast. Although she's not that young, but,
yes, she's
younger than most. Monica Rambeau.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
The only thing, I guess, the argument that I had to that earlier was Monica Rambeau is not Ironheart, and Ironheart is very, like, famously and very specifically a 16-year-old in university who built that herself. Built the Iron Man armor herself. So I don't know how much they'll, like, play with that character, seeing as she's so new, but...
What if she built it after Infinity War, and this is 5 years later? So she was 16 when she built it. What about that? What about that?
The things I heard about WandaVision, though, is it's going to be primarily set in the 1950s or something.
Oh.
And it's going to be, like, dimension time hopping, because Scarlet Witch is in Doctor Strange multi-dimension-y movie.
I've not heard anything about that.
Okay.
They've said that this will lead into the Multiverse of Madness, which is the Doctor Strange film, so it comes before it.
Okay.
But I hadn't heard anything about that. But
Yeah,
maybe?
because I heard almost going to be an old school, like, sitcom setting, like Happy Days, which is why that logo looks like an old, like, television set logo from the 40s or 50s, like,
Yeah, right.
like your stereo vision televisions or whatever.
Huh.
So yeah, I've heard it's sort of going to be a little bit in different eras, which could be almost loosely based on Tom King's Vision run, where he was trying to have a family, but instead of having a Vision wife, he has Wanda. I have no direct confirmation on that, but that's what I have heard, kind of speculated, and
Yeah,
I don't know whether their information came directly from a press thing or something.
We'll also, in this series, learn why she is called the Scarlet Witch, and she will get that name going forward.
That would be very
which is
cool.
Very exciting. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued to know how that happens, and whether, like, she ends up showing more powers than just having, like, force fieldy things. Whether she gets super magical.
Yeah.
Which is why she then links directly with Doctor Strange. Perhaps. I guess we'll see. But yeah.
But before we got into Doctor Strange, we got Loki, and God, I'm so excited for this series. And we called it. We called it. This will be the Loki from the Avengers timeline that was abandoned in Endgame.
Very good.
So, very exciting. On the logo, shut up, everybody. It's multi-dimensional, it's space hopping, it's time hopping. Every letter is different. Every episode will be different. It sells that. I'm fine. It's good.
Yeah. It's gonna be
sense.
fun. And they apparently made the point that the last thing happened to this Loki that we're going to see in the show is he was basically just thrown around by Hulk and then arrested. So he's not going to be a very happy boy.
No.
And that also means that Thor 2 and everything after that hasn't happened to this Loki.
Nope.
So he's
This
gone
is
back
the
to,
worst
like,
Loki we have.
yeah, he's basically gone back to OG Loki, and any character development or resolution that he made with Thor or whatever, that hasn't happened.
The reason he became kind was that his mother died, and that is not going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
that hasn't happened to him. So it's going to be interesting. I've also heard that it's going to be, like, time hoppy, space hoppy, and maybe a little bit Doctor Who-y, where he's, like, influencing events throughout history and things.
Yeah,
So
he's going to be the god of mischief across time and space, which
so
is very
cool.
exciting. I'm very intrigued to know where the time happens, because, of course, he only has the Space Stone. So I'm intrigued to know how he manages to travel through time, but it's Marvel.
yeah.
They'll make it make sense, I'm sure. I mean, it'd be pretty cool if he just goes and, like, just snatches it off old mate, Tilda Swinton. That's, like, the opening sequence. He just somehow gets it off her.
That's, like, the first place that he space hops.
Yeah.
Is back to her.
Yeah, he's like, hey, where's the stone? She's like, oh, I just gave it away. He's like, shit. And she's like, just give it a sec. And then Cap appears. Oh, Cap appears!
Oh,
He just takes it off Cap and then pisses off.
goodness me.
I mean, my dream for the end of this series is Cap catches up to him, because Cap has to get this stone back, you know? So I hope that's how it ends. We get
that'd be cool.
Steve Rogers going just, by the ear. Like, hey, we're going back now. Come on.
Nice. That'd be kind of cool. All of these series are just, like, single runs. From what we know, it's not going to be, like, seasonal
No.
kind of things. They're just, like, a one-off, probably, like, 8 to 10 issue series. Yeah.
Most of them are quite short, which I'm excited for, because the one problem, well, I mean, there's a lot of problems with Iron Fist. But the one problem with the Netflix series overall, in all cases, is they're too long. And they just run rampant with boring storylines. Every single Marvel Netflix series has, like, episode 6, oh, got the baddie, and then someone's like, he escaped. And it's like, Jesus, what? Again?
Yep. Every freaking time.
Every time. So I'm glad we're cutting them short. And it's the MCU. We don't waste time with these things. And as I keep saying, everything is happening for a reason. All of these shows, all these films. And one film that is going to change the fabric of the MCU as we know it is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, man. Just the name.
Yeah.
The name gives me freaking chills. It's so good.
Again, logo, super comic booky, again, a bit ugly for a film. The two fonts don't mix, but it's like, it gives me everything I need to know. It looks insane and creepy. And what we've been told by Scott Derrickson, who was the director of the first film, so again, another bit of MCU continuity, which I'm happy to see,
Good.
is we're going to make the first MCU scary film. It's going to be a horror film, still PG-13, which is M for us anyway.
Yeah.
And that's exciting, because one of the best thing about the Doctor Strange comics is just how dark and terrifying some of the imagery can be. So,
Yes.
Yummy. Also, he had a Night Monkey shirt on, and I'm like, a Spidey cameo? Maybe? Please? Because that would make a lot of sense. You end the film with Spidey being like, hey, Mr. Strange, something bad just happened. So that would be what I would like to happen. No spoilers for Spider-Man, but that's what the post-credit scene, you know, a bit of a Ragnarok-esque thing. You know, that scene could be lifted from the next Spider-Man film directly.
Yeah, for sure. That would be very cool.
That's all I want from this movie, really.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much I want from it, but give me some of that. Also important, obviously, Scarlet Witch is in it, which is also something I kind of called and hoped for a long time, and it will be tying directly into WandaVision.
Cool. And do you reckon Mordo will make an appearance?
Well, yeah, because recently there was an interview with Derrickson and with old mate Chiwetel, and he said that there was a 3-film arc for his character. So maybe he's behind some of the Multiverse of Madness. Maybe he interferes halfway through. But yeah, I feel like he'll definitely be back. They've got the director back. And this guy just looks like James Gunn with probably less controversy. So I assume he's got a plan. And yeah, I hope Mordo's in it, because I don't want that to be left in the dark. And apparently it's not going to be.
Awesome. Do you have any other theories on like dimensions and stuff that we may be visiting?
I mean, I hope that a lot of it is driven by the Sanctum, because the Sanctum has doorways to other dimensions. And in the comics, a lot of the comics take place within the Sanctum. Something goes wrong within the Sanctum, and Strange has to get to the heart of it to fix the house he's supposed to be protecting, and stop these things from leaking into our world. So I kind of would love if this film was technically in one location the entire film, which is the Sanctum. That's what I would love from this film. And yeah, multiverse-wise, I think... don't think multiverse is in what we know. Think of it as in that trippy sequence from Doctor Strange. That's the multiverses we're visiting. We're not visiting the universe where friggin' Steve Rogers is played by Michael B. Jordan. It's like insane things that don't make sense. This is where monsters dwell. This is where the multiverses of madness. So that's what I don't think it will be as straightforward as we're expecting. But Lucas on our on our Discord did have a theory,
and he said that he is theorizing that this may be where the X-Men get introduced. So he is going full multiverse, like actual multiverse, different universes and stuff. Because they've said that the Scarlet Witch is in it, and we got a multiverse, and Magneto is her dad. Like they turn up and see Magneto, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's my dad. But it's obviously her dad in another universe who's like a superhero. Could be a thing. So...
played by Michael Fassbender.
Oh, please.
That would be the best. I have theories on X-Men and stuff, and I don't know if we're going to get into that in this podcast, but we will get there one day. And Lucas, I think you're wrong. But something where that theory could live is in the What If series, which is another thing for the Disney Plus. It's a fully animated series. And just on the logo, Marvel Studio logo, as the logo, is fun. I think that's a very clever thing to do, and I think that's super adorable.
It's pretty good. How deeply have you looked into this logo?
I mean, I've got a list of like 3 things.
Okay.
We've got zombie cap, so maybe we'll get a Marvel Zombies short.
Yes. Yep.
Which would be good. I see a Mark 1 Iron Man suit, so maybe we get one where Jensen builds it himself.
Cool.
And
yeah.
Tony
Okay.
dies.
Yep.
And then I just see lots of faces. There's just a lot of faces in there.
Yes. There is one more that I have tracked down.
Okay.
Underneath the crossbar of the T
Yeah.
is a Union Jack.
Ooh, Captain Britain.
Yes. So Captain Britain, or like maybe Captain Britain could be, because they've already said that the first episode is Peggy Carter becoming the super soldier.
Oh,
So maybe
they
she'll
give it to
become
her.
Captain Britain in that universe, since she's British. That would kind of make
That'd be
sense.
sick,
Or
yeah. Well, she wouldn't be Captain America, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
That's a good point.
But yeah, it's a cool little. It's just tiny. It's on both sides. You just get the bottom left and the bottom right hand sides of the Union Jack on both sides of that crossbar and the T. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of little sneaky things thrown in there. It looks sick.
I should also say Captain Britain was originally going to be in Far From Home, but they couldn't find a place for him. So that's an interesting little tidbit.
Cool,
He was originally going to be in the film. But yes, other big thing, Jeffrey Wright, you'll know recently from Westworld, and like, you'll just watch a movie and he'll be there, and you'll be like, holy shit.
He just pops up. He's popping up everywhere.
He was
It's
in
great.
Game Night.
He was. That's right.
He is the voice of the Watcher. We did see
man.
some Watchers in Guardians Volume 2, but now we have the Watcher, and that's very exciting, and that is the perfect voice. As Marvel always do, they've nailed it.
Yeah, it's going to be freaking great. I wonder if he will be Uatu, like the most famous Marvel Watcher.
I guess that's probably the implied thing here, because we have seen other Watchers. To be like he's playing the Watcher, probably going to be old mate.
Oh, it'd be so good if we get like a legit Watcher in the MCU now.
Yes.
Like just live action, just pops up.
He's the Stan Lee, but it's like, yeah, I can see him. That's not subtle. Look at his head.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because the Watcher just famously like turns up to landmark events.
Yeah.
So
And it's always a bad thing. It's always like, oh shit.
Yeah, if you just see the Watcher just floating in the air, everyone's like, oh crap, something bad's about to happen because he's just here watching.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's very exciting. And it'll be just exciting because a lot of the What If comics in the comics start with the Watcher being like, I look at all these things and this is a thing that hasn't come to pass in the universe that I observed, but here it is anyway. I'm just excited to get that in an animated form. I'm also excited to know whether this will kind of follow the Love, Death and Monsters or Love, Death and Robots, where every episode's a visually different thing as well. I feel like that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the first episode being Peggy Carter being possibly Captain Britain, make that kind of an old-time, wartime cartoon. Like, that could be cool and, you know, follow that kind of a thing. And I just feel like having a single animation style for things that are gonna be startlingly different. That's a word in there. I think that'd be pretty sick to do.
Yeah. And like your Zombies one would obviously be a lot darker and maybe more detailed and grimmer.
Yeah.
Obviously gory and
Just don't do CGI. Don't do that. Don't do video game cutscene ones. Unless it looks like the first and like second episode of Love, Death and Robots, like the one that was pretty sleek with the ring of robots, the fighting death ring, and the other one that was basically Spider-Verse. Just do those two art styles if you're gonna do a little bit of a CG sort of look.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
It also is important to mention a huge slate of actors are on board. I've got a few that I've listed down that I'm excited because you've got your friggin' Michael B. Jordan, which means we will get a little bit more Killmonger and possibly what if Killmonger killed T'Challa and kept on as the King of Wakanda. We've got Josh Brolin, so something Thanos related or something Cable related. Imagine that. Bit of Hemsworth, bit of Gillen, so something Nebs related, which I'm always keen for. Renner, Just, I don't care
very
what it
good.
is. Just more Hawkeye. Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Rooker. So that means we're getting a Yondu, which is exciting. What if he didn't sacrifice himself and he went back on the ship and then everyone's like, you suck, man, you suck.
What if he did eat Star-Lord?
Yeah, it's just like the Last Supper with all of all of his mates just tucking into Chris Pratt because they couldn't afford him.
That's the whole episode.
Yeah, it's just that. And then someone's like, hey, Jesus. And he's like, who's Jesus? And he's like, oh, I don't know, man. Is he cool? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I'm Jesus, y'all.
I'm so confused.
And Natalie Portman as well, which is important to remember what's coming up later. But I also am like, because it's happening, what is her one going to be?
Yeah.
Or is it just going to be her lifting up the hammer in Thor 1? What if Thor never becomes worthy again?
Whoa.
That could be pretty sick.
That'd be crazy. Wow, nice.
But yes, that's going to be mental. The actors they got on board is exciting. And I have no idea how many episodes that's going to be, because that feels like there's a big old slate.
And that could definitely be a thing that has multiple seasons as the phases go on.
Just never ends. Yeah. But something that I feel like will probably be close-ended and also end a bit of an arc and a journey for a character is Hawkeye.
Oh, man.
And just the logo talk, perfect logo, I don't care. Like, people are going to look at it and be like, that's a bit lame. And I'm like, hey, that is the Map Fraction logo, the greatest arc of a comic book in at least Marvel. I know there's Watchmen and all that shit, but the best thing I've ever read, which is the Map Fraction. So
take that, Alan Moore.
Yeah, little shit. Sit down, mate. And Jeremy Renner, check it out on his Instagram, showed the logo animation, and God, it looks good.
It's so gorgeous. It looks like the animated comic book thing.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so cool.
It looks perfect. It looks incredible. I'm so damn excited for this, and we're absolutely going to be reading through that series for a comic book club in the future.
Absolutely.
Because everyone needs to read this, and we need to...
Yeah, we're going to force you to buy this comic. We
really are. You all need to get it.
Look, we'll use your Patreon money to buy the comic for you. We won't, because that'd be silly. But you should buy the comic.
We could do that, though, mate.
We could do that, but we probably... I mean, unless... Maybe... Well... You know what we could do, Josh? I'm going to, like, whisper out of the side of my mouth so they don't hear us.
All right.
We could pay for, like, a month's worth of subscription for some of the Discord people, because it's, like, $10. And so...
That would be pretty cool.
And then it's, like, basically we're promoting Marvel Unlimited, which you should... Hang on, I'm just going to switch hands. Which you should all buy. You should all buy Marvel Unlimited, is what I'm saying.
You really should.
Yeah, I'm going back again. And then they might want to stick around, and then when we do other comic book clubs, they'll be able to read all the comics, because they were like, man, that 1 month was great. And also, Josh and Will are such lovely people, and you should give them money on patreon.com/each to their own, because they make great content. Oh shit, wrong hand. Good, it's fine. There's my idea. But
sounds good.
Yes, we will be doing that at some point, and I've just looked at my mic and that was all peaking. If you don't know, the Matt Fraction arc introduced Kate Bishop. You know, she was kind of a character already, but it introduced and gave her a proper solid origin as the passing of the bow between Hawkeye to Kate Bishop. So we don't have a cast yet.
Is Kate Bishop actually going to be her daughter?
No, I think because they've specifically said Kate Bishop, I assume we'll be getting a different person.
Okay.
That was just like an open-ended tease that will probably go nowhere.
Cool. Okay, cool.
Because she's way too young. She didn't survive the snap. There's no crazy age gap, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Unless you crazy fan theory time. Unless you bump it like 40 years in the future. He's old. His daughter's old enough. Probably not that far, 30 years.
Yeah, I was going to say 40. His daughter's like 50-something years old.
There's a reason why I went that far.
Okay.
He passes on the bow. You have an older Clint Barton so that you also can set up an old man Hawkeye.
That would be kind of cool.
Do that. Do an old... I don't even know what you'd call it, because we've now got Quill, we've got Hawkeye, and we've got Logan. Like an old man Marvel. Where it's just that universe. Old man Marvel sounds like what we'll call Kevin Feige in like 50 years.
Kevy. Old man Kevy.
But yes, and Jeremy Hawkeye, basically, that's what he is to us. Jeremy Renner is still Hawkeye, and the best bit, when the logo reveal happened, he's sat on the ground. You can just see, when the lights come back, he's just completely on the ground, cross-legged, looking up at the screen. It's adorable.
It's so good. His walk-in as well. His walk-in is amazing. If you can track down that video, it's so good.
It's very funny.
He's like just high-fiving people and bumping into the bouncers and apologizing and pulling faces about it. Oh,
and it's all set to the Avengers theme. No one else got the Avengers theme. Hawkeye's the only one, and he deserves
so
it.
Good.
But someone that's sticking around, one of the very few people that we've still got in our universe, it's Thor, Love and Thunder. The internet took away the thunder a little bit by announcing that it was officially happening 5 days before this was announced. But a lot more came out of this. I'll talk about the logo, over the top. It's like late 80s action adventure Taika. It's great.
It's very reminiscent of He-Man and then Masters of the Universe. It's like almost identical to that logo.
Yeah, and also the gradient in the top part is the same gradient as Ragnarok, and that just made me a little bit happy.
Of course it is.
The note below that is yes to everything. Hemsworth and Thompson are back. Thompson being Valkyrie, and she said the words, "Now that she's king, she'll need to find her queen," which also confirms the long-rumoured character that's been introduced that will be come out as bi, and it is Valkyrie. So that may play into a little bit of a relationship that might develop in this, which will be great because there's only one person who can play that role, as Taika talked about, the mighty Thor, and she's here now, Natalie Portman, and people just went mental.
She's freaking back. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts that she's back.
Yeah, and she gets handed Mjolnir by Taika, which also means that Taika is worthy, and announced that she is playing the mighty Thor.
That's so nuts.
It's like, I love it because there's no way in hell, mainly because I don't think it existed yet, that she knew this would ever happen when she signed on for Thor 1.
Yeah.
Like, this was never in her contract.
Yeah, keep talking. I'm going to look into when female Thor appeared.
I think it was 2014 when all the crazy stuff happened in comics. But yeah, it's crazy that she's on board. She actually wanted to have a cameo in Endgame, but they couldn't find a spot for her, which is why we just got reused footage. And she did record additional dialogue for that, to slide in for that quick bit with Rocket. But, so she has wanted to be on board for a while, assumedly after Ragnarok, when she was like, "Oh, I wouldn't have mind being in that." Yeah, so I'm very glad to have her back. As I was saying earlier, please keep our Marvel women on board. Find a way to bring Rachel McAdams, another great actress that was just wasted on Doctor Strange's, weird love interest. The fact, I remembered that recently, and I was like, Josh, do you know that Rachel McAdams is in Doctor Strange? Why was she... it annoys me that we lost so many actors. Admittedly, we'll get to the end of this and we'll find out that maybe actors can come back and it doesn't really matter. But Joshua, when was it released?
It was 2014 during Original Sin.
Yes. Yeah,
I believe. So. But also the concept of Jane Foster gaining the powers of Thor... were apparently in the What If issue 10 in 1978.
Wow.
So that was a thing that actually happened for a bit.
Imagine if old Kevy was like, we're going to do this in 2021, so when you sign that dotted line, we're going to pull upon this arc from 1978. It wasn't even an arc, it was a single issue, but I'm going to do that, if that's okay.
So good. But yeah, it's a thing that happened, which is very cool.
And in The Mighty Thor, Jane Foster... What the hell just happened with my voice? Where did it go? Jane Foster had a terminal illness, and we saw that. We then saw The Mighty Thor, which was a female, and it was kept secret from us. Eventually, we found out that it was Jane Foster. The Hammer had seeked her out after Thor had lost his worthiness. So, I don't know if that'll work. I don't know how a terminal illness being thrust upon a character we haven't seen for 6 years is going to play out, but
I guess at the same time it could happen because we haven't seen her for 6 years, so maybe Thor just goes back and finds her and then she's got cancer or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally a thing they can do. Also, the thing is, Mjolnir seeks her out. We know that Stormbreaker doesn't have that worthiness spell. Mjolnir
Yes.
is also broken, and the other one was returned by Cap to Thor to the Dark World. So it's interesting to know how they're going to do that. Whether they reforge Mjolnir, because assumedly the parts are still sitting on that mountain where Asgard's chilling. I don't think the wind can blow those parts, technically. Unless the wind is worthy.
The wind is worthy!
There is an alternative in... where did I read this? In War of the in War of the Realms 6, spoilers for War of the Realms if you're currently reading it but haven't read this issue, which is... it's already out. Jane Foster, at the end of an arc, I assume, bids farewell to the Earth 1610 Mjolnir.
Sure.
It crumbles, and as it does, its shards combine and they merge into a gold arm that like forms over her arm. So the fact, like, because I was researching, I'm like, the fact that shards of a Mjolnir is something that happens to Jane Foster's Thor. Like, could they use that? Could they be trying to reforge it and like it go like maybe her and Selvig and Kat Dennis have found the parts and they're trying to reforge them, and as that happens, they go into her arm, maybe? Like as her
Weird.
like trying to get back to Thor or some shit. Like
She gets a lot of stuff in her.
yeah, she does, that's true.
Everything just ends up inside her.
Yeah, she should just stop putting her fist in things. I'm gonna cut that line. And also, an important part of the Mighty Thor stuff is that Thor, as he is not worthy, gives her his name of Thor, and he calls himself Odin's son. Of course, he does think he's worthy now, and he is worthy, which is a main point of Endgame, but I feel like they could twist the idea of him handing the name Thor over and keeping Odinson for himself. I feel like
Yes.
that's something he could totally pull upon, because he was told to be his own person, and I feel like Thor is a name that has been bestowed upon him, and he doesn't want that anymore. He wants to be Odin's son. And so
Could be.
I feel like that could be a thing they use in the film. Anything else
be.
from you, Joshua?
Just the thought that maybe she's only Thor for like a little bit. Maybe it's not sticking around for heaps long, but it's like just this film or something like that. It could be a lot shorter than everyone's sort of expecting.
Yeah.
Or additionally, that we just get like a whole bunch of Thors.
Yeah, I've heard this
At this
one.
state, yeah. So like we basically get the Spider-Verse for Thors, the Thor-verse.
You get the Throgs.
Yes, we get Throgs, Beta Ray Bill, please.
Yeah.
Just give us all the Thors. There's so many Thors in the thing. There's probably heaps in the War of the Realms series that's happening right now, right?
Yeah, well, remember Secret Wars? There was that issue 2 that was just Thors on the cover. It was just like
Yes.
an army of Thors. So, or actually, I think it was Secret Wars Thors, I think was the issues.
Right.
But yeah, that'd be pretty insane, and also something that Taika would somehow do.
Probably.
And I mean, I guess with that, if they did bring in Beta Ray Bill, whether Thor gives him Stormbreaker, which is Beta Ray Bill's hammer, and then Thor just makes, because there's a gold Mjolnir that he's wielding in the comics at the moment. So whether he forges a new one, and that could explain away how Mjolnir seeks out Jane, if they want to do that. Maybe it's not something that happens early on in the film, but yeah, maybe we'll get lots of Thors.
Yeah. How is Chris Hemsworth on this for like the long haul?
Yeah.
This wouldn't be like his end, right?
No.
He's not going to hand over
He's
the
on
mantle
board for a lot
completely.
more now.
Cool. Very good.
I feel like of all the characters from the original phase, Thor is the one that is going to ride this franchise out forever.
Yeah.
Which, if you told that to someone pre-Avengers, probably not what they would have thought.
Absolutely, yeah. I guess he basically just started at Ragnarok.
Yeah.
That was like the first time he was really a fantastic character that everyone fell in love with.
Yeah.
More than just for his looks.
I feel like it should be noted, he's probably going to be buffed by this film.
Yep.
So expect that. And it also should be noted that James Gunn, I think on the Insta, has said that this film happens before Volume 3. So Thor is well and truly off the Guardians by the time Volume 3 comes around, of Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's important.
Very odd. Yeah.
Next up, was Black Widow, and in terms of the logo, it'll do. It's got the insignia, so that's a nice little bit of comic book that often it's just kind of on her and you don't really notice it. I like it's up front, and it's also quite a clean logo. I think it's one of the better ones they gave us.
Yes. And is this the... it's not the next film. Is this like the second film for next year?
I believe it's the first film. It's the first film we're getting first. Yeah, May 1st. So this is the next bit of Marvel we'll be getting,
right.
MCU.
Yeah, sorry, I thought Eternals was next, but it's end of next year.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we've gotten conflicting reports. This is still not set in stone, but probably post-Civil War is the main thing that we know from this. But it'll be bouncing between eras. There's no way. There's so much for Black Widow to be explained, so this will be going all over the place.
Absolutely, yeah.
Important things, cast-wise, we've got David Harbour, who you'll know as Hellboy. Probably not. You'll know him as a Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yes.
He'll be playing Alexei, which is the Red Guardian, which is basically Russia's Captain America. So that's a campy character they're throwing into this, otherwise, I assume, fairly serious film.
That's kind of cool. I heard he was in it, but I didn't realize who he was playing. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a Russian. Florence Pugh will be playing Yelena... I know this character, so I should say it correctly. Yelena Belova, who is the second Black Widow in the comics, which is exciting. Same trainer, whether they'll just say they went to the Red Room together in the MCU, because they haven't really done things with trainers, but in the comics, Yelena is, she goes on, a mission where she has to kill the person that killed her trainer, and at the end of that, she's bestowed upon her the title of Black Widow, and then, Black Widow is yeah, look, you're not getting it that easily, so she starts just messing her up and, putting her through trials and stuff. So,
jeez.
It'll be very interesting to know if they do anything like that, but I could imagine that being a bit of, similar to the Hawkeye series, a bit of a passing of the baton. Florence Pugh is also a fairly up-and-coming rising star. She's in the spotlight, so to pass the Black Widow mantle to her and have her in the future of the MCU feels a bit logical. And at the same time, Widow putting her through some tests will give us some Widow actually, doing something. So that works at the same time as a passing of the baton film.
Sounds good. So who's this actress? What's she in? You said she's in the...
Midsummer has just come out recently. She's also in Fighting With My Family, which, everyone loved that film with The Rock.
Right.
But,
sure.
So she was the main actress in that. So she's in a lot of stuff, specifically this year, but also Outlaw King, which was that old mate Chris Pine film on the Netflix. So she's in stuff, she's rising, and I could see her taking that mantle on
cool.
moving forward. We also get O.T. Fag... Oh, I don't even want to say that because I feel like that's offensive. We also get O.T. Faglablen. That's not even what it says!
Nailed it!
I added so many extra letters just then. He's playing Mason, but not the Tinkerer, because we've already had him. It's just a character called Mason. There's actually nothing online about who this could possibly be. We're also getting Rachel Weisz, who is a friggin' amazing actress and very exciting that she's in the film. She's playing Melina, and we don't really... I mean, Alexei could be a baddie, but probably not. We don't really have an idea of a villain, but Melina, and that's the only part of the name we've been given, the Iron Maiden in the comics was once by the idea, the alias of Melina. So we could be getting that, which is exciting.
Interesting.
In a very, very old Black Widow comic as well, which feels like the kind of thing, it's what we're going to be pulling on in the MCU. The older the better, the 1978s of comics.
Probably, yes. Yes.
And also, I just want to point out in terms of casting, Jeremy Renner wasn't brought on stage, and considering Elizabeth Olsen was for Doctor Strange, if he had an important role, he probably would have been out there, but I wouldn't rule out it as a cameo or a surprise in the film. But I thought it was interesting. He's not important in the film, clearly, or it's a surprise.
You also didn't mention, which I feel like you did mention to me the other day, Taskmaster?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a concept piece of art that they gave out to everyone, and it's Widow fighting Taskmaster. So we officially know that the villain, or a small, maybe intro sequence, possibly, is with old mate Tasky. So I'm excited that he's in the universe, because I love Taskmaster.
You love that guy. He's like your favourite.
He's my favourite. I actually kind of really do like him. Yeah, I'm super keen. And in the concept art, not a skeleton face, but the helmet he's wearing is very angular and like it has nostrils, so they did the best they could to give us a skeleton face.
Yes.
In like a realistic way.
It almost looks like a cross between like Taskmaster's mask and Doctor Doom's mask.
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of like that sort of angular with the slits for the eyes and all the things.
I like it. I think they did a good job. And I feel like Taskmaster is the kind of villain that could work in like a Spidey film or something, but I feel like if you're gonna use him, a Black Widow film is the right place to put him. Because if you don't know in the comics, Taskmaster basically instantly memorizes your moveset and just can punch it on back to you. So, putting him against a character that only punches and only uses her legs is a good choice.
Yes, and that will lead to some insane, amazing choreographed fights. Oh man, that's one thing that I'm really keen for this movie, is because her fights and stuff, all of her sort of movements and choreographed battles are the sickest thing that she does. It's so awesome.
The best sequence in Iron Man 2 is her fight in the hallway while Happy takes on like 1-2.
Yes, yeah. So just a whole bunch of that for an entire film.
Yes.
Hell yes, that'll be hectic.
Very, very keen. I did see a quote, and I don't know if it was within it or if someone's come up with it, but there were a few things. There was a video released of snippets from the Hall H panel, but it was something like, "You will find out what happened in Budapest," and someone had tweeted that. And I don't know whether Feige, old mate Kevy, said it, or if someone's just come up with that, but I assume it's gonna happen. They're gonna get it to us.
Yeah.
We flip-flop on it, but really, we would like to see it.
Yes, yeah. Which, that's where we would get, if anything, we would get a bit of Hawkeye.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
20-minute post-credit scene. We also got, we didn't, unfortunately, but everyone in Hall H got given Black Widow hats, which the whole cast had, and the entirety of everyone that, all the actors and directors and stuff, all got one. But old mate Kevy also then said, "I want to leave you with one more thing that I don't think has been rumoured about," which I love. I love that he's prefaced that as in, like, "You little dickheads, I know you've sussed out everything else I've been talking about, but you better get ready for this, you little shits." Out comes Maharisha. It's another name that I just wish was easier.
Freaking names, man.
Mahershala Ali, who is like a famous actor. He was in your Spider-Verse. He was in your Alita Battle Angel. He was in your other ones. He's in like Oscar-winning films. Like, this guy is very important. And Kevy said to him, "It looks like you have your own hat." And he puts on a Blade hat. What?
Yes.
Well, so vampires are in the MCU, guys.
So freaking weird. Also, this guy, I had totally forgotten that this was a thing, so I was like ramping myself up. I'm like, what was this extra announcement? But that guy played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. So I guess they've really sort of hammered home that those Netflix series do not matter. No. They are not a thing.
But yeah, so that's, I'm sure some Netflix fans are sad, but there's no reason why the actors that played all your Netflix characters, your Christian writers and the rest, can't still play Jessica Jones and stuff. The smaller characters will be done away with, and maybe the lore of those Netflix series, but there's no reason Daredevil can't be in this, and be given the treatment Black Panther and Spidey were, where it's like, he's here, stuff happened, let's continue, So I wouldn't put it past them to still bring in the heroes, but yeah, the smaller characters like Cottonmouth and stuff like that will probably be lost.
Yes.
But before it all ended, Feige said Black Panther 2 is coming, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming, Captain Marvel 2 is still coming, and he then said, "I didn't even have time to talk about the Fantastic Four, and there's no time to talk about mutants." So, that's confirmed.
It's so insane.
Yeah.
But I can't believe that we just talked for nearly an hour on only the next 2 years.
It's stupid, right?
That's so much stuff. There's so much stuff. It's dumb. And that's why we didn't talk about the entirety of like all the other things announced at Comic-Con.
Yeah. We just can't.
There's there's not even enough time,
Nah.
Kevy.
Mate, we'd make an entire podcast on cats if we could, but
Oh man,
yeah,
we want to?
I mean, frame by frame. But that's the MCU for the next 2 years. Plausibly, there's more. Plausibly, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is also, somewhere in there. A few of those other films you listed at the end, because, next year's apparently only 2 films, so why not slot one more in there?
Is it only 2?
Yeah, next year's 2, and then the following year we go back to 3. But
Oh, it was 2, and there's a TV series next year too, right?
Yeah.
That's Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yeah. But, that I say only 2 films in a series because 2021 currently has 4 series and 3 films. So, that's why 2 films is a little lackluster, friends.
It's freaking madness.
It's
just
stupid.
ridiculous.
So, and the best thing is that, Disney isn't Warner Brothers, and all of these things will happen.
Yes.
So, that's the exciting part.
The only thing that they have not made was that, they made it into a TV show. What was that?
Inhumans.
Inhumans, thank you. So that's the only thing that it didn't make into a film, but they made it into a TV show, and then that didn't go very well at all, so that's gone as well.
Yeah. Well, there were 2 IMAX episodes that were originally going to be one film, but they then split in half, and then they were like, yeah, look, the series sucks, so let's just film it on a normal camera.
I'm intrigued to see how bad it is. I want to watch it.
I feel like it's probably as bad as the worst episodes of Arrow. I'm sure it's not that bad.
Yeah, probably.
But it's not MCU level. But, yeah.
Definitely
So, we've got some crazy stuff happening. I've got some crazy theories. I'd love to say them, but I think we're just going to have to give that to its own podcast.
We can do that. We can do that later.
Yeah.
Another
day. But, here we are. We're back. I mean, we're not gonna say we're gonna make content. You'll see if we do. You'll know if we do, basically.
We're very much hoping we do.
Yeah.
I think life is calming down for me a little bit at the moment, although I took yesterday off work just to calm down because I did, I think, 13 out of 15 days of work in a row, and all of those were between 2 and 6 hours of overtime. It was insane. It was a dumb amount of time. So I took yesterday off to sort of chill out. And then I went back today, and my producer was like, "Oh, so did you go back to Sydney, or like, why'd you take the day off?" And I was like, "Oh, I was just chilling out after overtime." He's like, "Cool, well, just remember we have another milestone coming in like 3 weeks." I'm like, "Oh, great, that's great." So I don't think it'll be as stressful, hopefully, but time will tell, and hopefully I can get some more content out. I filmed some stuff yesterday. I'm very low energy because of everything that is happening. So the video itself is also low energy. It's Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So that'll be coming hopefully later this week at your faces. But I just want to give a super quick shout out. I don't know if she listens to the podcasts, but thank you to Ghost, who is our latest Patreon, for jumping in. We haven't got many new members lately. We've just had a solid little crew, and she's joined, and it's awesome. So thank you so much to Ghost for helping us out there. Yeah, we're gonna do our freaking best to get back on top of all the things.
And if you want to see all the things, you can jump on over to facebook.com/each-to-their-own, or on YouTube. You may be listening there right now, but if you're not, and you're on Spotify, let everyone know on YouTube that you could go to Spotify and listen to it. There's a link down below if you're on YouTube. Was that complicated? Now, try and friggin' boost in Crash Team Racing, because you gotta hop with one button and then hit the boost with the other. It's stupid.
It's real weird. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, the most important thing about DC that came out of San Diego Comic-Con is the fact that Doom Patrol's got a second season. And that's all I cared about.
Very
That
cool.
whole thing that we've just spent the last hour and a half talking about, fuck it. Doom Patrol got a second season. That's all that matters. So we'll ride out with that until the next one, the wheel of the who of the things out.
Yeah, and Josh is also going. It is 10:05. I'm going to go have some dinner.
Oh, you're a fucking idiot.